Good evening, everyone. Elorukam Malay Wanakangal. Bonsoir tout le monde. I am absolutely delighted to join you here from the traditional lands of many Indigenous nations, most recently of the Mississaugas of the Credit, and I want to acknowledge the lands in which you're all joining us this evening. We have a very exciting evening planned for you tonight. We will have the Prime Minister later on to join us. But before that, I would like to invite you to view our caucus video, which is brought to you by the National Liberal Caucus. So with that, we'll go to the video.
This month, we are so happy to celebrate Tamil Heritage Month.
Alors, nous vous souhaitons joyeux mois du patrimoine tamouais.
Happy Thai Pongal.
Joyeux Thai Pongal.
Inia Thai Pongal Nalwaltika.
Tamil Heritage Month has been recognized in Canada
since 2016 and every year, from coast to coast to coast.
It serves as an opportunity to celebrate
Tamil culture, heritage, language, history.
The Tamil community has contributed immensely to the Canadian society that we enjoy today.
Since their arrival as early as the 1950s.
And continue to do so today.
From the start of COVID-19,
Tamils of all backgrounds,
especially essential and frontline workers,
have stepped forward to serve our communities
and protect our most vulnerable.
For that and more, we thank you.
During this month and all others,
we would like to recognize the Tamil Canadians.
Continue to be an asset to Canada's social,
economic, political, and cultural foundation.
On behalf of the Federal Liberal Caucus, we wish all those celebrating a happy Thai Pongal.
We wish all those celebrating a very happy Thai Pongal.
And also, happy Tamil Heritage Month, Canada.
Nandri Vanakam.
So that's, I just want to acknowledge some of the caucus members that are here this evening. Annie Petrakis, Francesco Sorbera, Iquinder Gahir, Minister Mary Ng, Minister Carolyn Bennett, Maninder Sidhu, Minister Bill Blair, Minister Ahmed Hussein, Peter Fonseca, Salma Zahid, Minister Helena Jasik, and of course, Minister Anita Anand. I also want to acknowledge Minister Bart Shagar, as well as His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Toronto, John Tory, as well as City Councillor for Ward 25, Jennifer McKelvey. With that, I would like to introduce the Honorable Anita Anand to light the traditional lamp and offer her remarks. And Anita is the first person of Tamil descent and likely around the world to be the Minister of Defense. So we're very excited to have her light the lamp and say a few words.
Vanakkam and happy Thai Pongal. This month, we celebrate Tamil Heritage Month. Alors, nous vous souhaitons joyeux mois du patrimoine Tamil. Tamil Heritage Month has been recognized in Canada since 2016, and each year, from coast to coast to coast, it serves as an opportunity to celebrate the Tamil culture, the heritage, the language, and the history that so richly occurs in our country via Tamil Canadians. And as a Tamil Canadian myself, I am so proud that during this month and all others, we recognize that Tamil Canadians continue to be a contributing asset to Canada's social, economic, political, and cultural foundation. It's so great to be here today with my caucus colleagues and beyond Indeed, all of you are truly making a difference in your communities during these challenging times. We don't have to look very far to see how Tamil Canadians have shown courage and strength in the fight against COVID. We know that there are many Tamil Canadians from communities across this country who are working on the front lines and doing essential work every single day. And for that, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough for your courage and your strength. The work that each and every one of you are doing on the front lines is reflective of what we have always seen in the Tamil community. Our community always steps up during the most difficult times. And as a Tamil Canadian with roots tracing back to Tamil Nadu, my dad in particular is from Tamil Nadu. I'm particularly proud to be able to celebrate Tamil Heritage Month with all of you as well. And I really am so happy to be able to recognize and acknowledge our frontline healthcare workers. I know that the last 2 years, and particularly the last few months, have been incredibly difficult. As booster doses and pediatric vaccines are being rolled out, I know that all of you are continuing to do your part to ensure that we can fight this pandemic together. I'm looking forward to tonight's program, and I want in particular to thank Gary Anandasangaree for that very warm introduction, and indeed for his whole team for their organization of this incredible event. Nandri, Vanakkam, and thank you once again. I have already lit the diya here, and I thank you so much for including me this evening.
Thank you very much, Minister Anand, and we're incredibly proud of the work that you've done, not just in procuring the vaccines, amongst the highest in the world per capita, but also your leadership as the Minister of Defense. And of course, we recognize and acknowledge all those who are working in the front lines within your department, those soldiers, those in uniform whose safety we pray for. We're actually very excited. I know many people have asked about Pongal, what Pongal means, what it is. And we thought it would be a good way for us to introduce Pongal is to have someone who is an expert to tell us what it is and to start making Pongal for us. I know we cannot deliver it to you, but virtually we will be able to celebrate what he has to make today. And I'd like to introduce Roshan Kanagaraja, who is an innovative chef behind what's called the Kitchen Gorilla, the food company behind a unique line of hot sauces and marinades. Based in Toronto, Roshan wants to give the community wholesome, quality food inspired by a blend of cultures in Toronto and his own Tamil roots. He looks forward to elevating Tamil culture and hopes that the cuisine will have its own identity in the worldwide industry. And I think Roshan knows that the Prime Minister is a very big fan of very spicy food. So I'm pretty sure he'll look forward to trying your work.
Hi guys, my name is Roshan Kanagaraja, and welcome. We're here at Shira Gelato at my gelato store, and I'm going to show you guys how to make Pongal. So Pongal is celebrated every year on January 14th, and it is to thank the sun, it is to thank the farmers, and it's to thank for the abundance of fruits, vegetables, and all the food that we get from the earth. So as we say thank you, we use ingredients that are farmed on our land. And first I'll walk you through how it is done. So Pongal is basically a sweet rice dish. The first step of Pongal is boiling milk in a pot. And this is to symbolize an abundant harvest for the future. So as we say thank you, and we also boil the milk, and milk would boil out. And again, that's to say, good luck for the future and to have an abundant harvest as always. So this is a very important dish to us, and it's really good. So I'm going to show you guys. Are we ready to start it off, guys?
Yeah, go for it, Roshan. Let's start.
Thank you, Gary. So here we have the pot. I have the water boiling here. So first you will start off with 2 liters of boiling water. So you always start off with boiling water and you add milk. So of course milk comes from our farm and we use this out of respect for our cows, and milk is also a sign of purity in our culture. So what you want to do is you want to add this milk, and very shortly this milk will come to a boil. So traditionally what we do is we would boil this milk, and like I was mentioning earlier, it would boil over. So in a couple minutes, this milk will boil over, and we'll add our rice. So what we use here is red rice. You'll see in the description after how much rice we're actually using. So this is raw red rice. This is the most commonly used rice for from where we come from, especially in the northeast of Sri Lanka, where most of the Tamils come from. This is the most commonly used rice, and it's a staple ingredient. So we're gonna add.
Rashaan, as you continue to make Pongal for us today, we're going to cut away and we're going to check in with you in a bit. And then we're going to be dropping a video later on for everyone interested in how to make Pongal. We'll drop the video in a bit. So thank you. We'll get back to you. He's right now in Ajax, Ontario. So we'll get back in a few minutes. Okay. So with that, I'd like to introduce His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Toronto, and a dear friend to the community, and a very important partner for the federal government in all the great work that we've undertaken together. And one notable achievement this year, Mayor Tory, is along with your colleague, Dr. Jennifer McKelvey, and City Council, is your leadership in procuring the land for the Tamil Community Center and the funding that ensued after that. So with that, Mayor Tory, I'd like you to take away and say a few words for us tonight.
Well, Gary, thank you, and Thai Pongal Baltagal to everybody, and Wanakam. And that was, you think tonight that it's a bit disappointing for us not to be able to gather in person. And I can well remember, by the way, mixing up Pongal with the Prime Minister. And I wasn't aware of his penchant for spicy foods, but I will say that maybe Rashaan, the Prime Minister, and myself, we can get Rashaan to cook us up some spicy foods and see how we both do. But, it is a happy occasion, as well as at the beginning of Tamil Heritage Month. And so I just want to wish everyone all the very best on those two important occasions. And to say that, while we can't get together in person, there is a lot to celebrate. I think we have to celebrate the fact that in this past year, we did get the land freed up for the Tamil Community Center. We have worked well together as partners, and I want to in particular thank not just Gary Anandasangaree for organizing this event and inviting me to come, but also for pulling together all of his caucus colleagues with whom I enjoy working so much. They're good partners, I assure you, for the City of Toronto. We work on many different things together, and I hope we will continue to do so. So we have that to celebrate as well. And I think we have to celebrate as well what Minister Anand made reference to, which is how many people across the city, but how many people in particular from the Tamil Canadian community have stepped forward and not just got themselves vaccinated, which was something good to do in the collective interests of our health and each other, but they've also stepped forward on the front lines in many cases and helped to carry out all of the different support functions that we've had throughout this pandemic, which has gone on, I know, for a very long time. It's been a very frustrating experience for all of us. And Tamil Canadians, of course, not unexpectedly, not surprisingly to me, have led the way in terms of stepping forward and doing all those kinds of things. So as we look at a celebration that is about the harvest and about our good fortune and so on, and as we might be feeling a bit sorry about the fact we've had to sacrifice doing these events in person, and of course all the sacrifice and misery that has gone with the pandemic, there is still much to celebrate, and certainly not least of all, by any means, in that is to celebrate the Tamil community itself. I have been amazed at over the many years that I've got to know the Tamil community, and I know my colleague, and who is such a fervent a representative and a good friend of the Tamil community, my colleague Jennifer McKelvey, has often said to me, we are amazed each other at the degree to which this community goes from strength to strength to strength. And it's been mentioned, whether it's economics and business, whether it's cultural, whether it's social, or whether it's political, this community is making such a contribution well beyond what you might expect from a community of this size in so many different areas. And I'm so grateful for that, and that is a reason to celebrate as well. And it was mentioned earlier on about language. I've learned a lot about that and about the incredible classical heritage of the Tamil language and how much that contributes to the world at large. And, there are some issues that we have to address as friends, and I stand in solidarity on a continuing basis with the Tamil community to try and achieve justice in Sri Lanka itself, and there's lots to do there, and I stand there with you from time to time. But I want to add one more thing to the list that I'm always thankful for in terms of the contributions of the Tamil community, and I never fail to mention it, as Gary, I'm sure, would attest, which is the Tamil community, and it stands out. I'm not just mentioning, I don't go around saying this to every community, are really good parents. And if you think about the roles we're given in life, there is no role more important than being a good parent. And I just see it after day with the different things that members of the Tamil community in Toronto do to make sure their children turn out on a balanced, well-rounded basis, and they're doing a great job of it. You see these award ceremonies, and time after time again, Tamil kids are stepping up and receiving those awards because they earned them. And so I want to just say thank you to everybody again for everything you've contributed. I want to say thank you to the Prime Minister too. Beyond my looking forward to maybe having some spicy food with him that Roshan will cook up for us, he has been a good partner thus far for Toronto, and now we're going to work together with you, with the MPs, with you in the community to build this city up and build it back stronger than ever, because that's what our obligation is to do. You and your families, I hope you all have a wonderful Tamil Heritage Month with lots to reflect on and to celebrate and to inform our fellow citizens about the wonders of the Tamil community and Tamil history and culture, and a wonderful Thai Pongal as well. So Thai Pongal, Baltakal again, and thank you for letting me have these few minutes with you, Gary, and your colleagues.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for being here and being supportive of this community as always. And thank you to your colleague, Dr. Jennifer McKelvey, for joining us. And with that, I would like to introduce our video that captures from coast to coast to coast the incredible contributions of Tamil Canadians throughout the pandemic, but also the strength and the resilience as demonstrated by our guest today.
Hi, my name is Mayurendra Ravichandran. I'm an emergency physician at the Scarborough Health Network in Toronto, Ontario.
My name is Keithana Rang, and I'm a board of director with the Tamil Community Centre in Scarborough, Ontario.
Hello, my name is Haran Vijayanathan, and I was the program manager for the Least Attachment Assertive Community Treatment Program at Mount Carmel Clinic here in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
My name is Apadra Muthulinga. I am a director of Tamil Chair Inc.
Hi, my name is Abhisheka Voitson. I'm the event coordinator for Toronto Tamil Chair.
என்னுடைய பேர் இந்திராணி பத்மநாதன். நான் ஒரு சீனியர். நான் டொரண்டோல தான் வசிக்கிறேன்.
My name is Janusa Keviaswaranathan. I'm a cardiac radiation technologist at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver, British Columbia.
My name is Roshan Kanagaraja. I'm the chef and owner of Shira Gelato in Ajax.
My name is Sharmista Sivapinyam Chandrakumar, and I'm an elementary French immersion teacher in the Peel District School Board in Mississauga, Ontario.
My name is Siddiq Mahmood, and I'm working for the TTC Wilson Division, and I'm from Scarborough, Ontario.
My name is Vidya Thirumal. I'm a registered nurse. Montreal, Quebec, St. Mary's Hospital, dialysis unit.
The most difficult part for a lot of us and for myself was the loss of what was considered normal. I think what our normal processes in the hospital and the emergency departments all changed with the pandemic, and what we experienced in the emergency department also changed drastically, where we kind of had to live with this anxiety from the beginning of the unknown.
The hardest part of the pandemic has been not being able to engage our community in person and celebrate the big milestones we've been able to achieve in person with the community. This year, we've been able to do great things like secure government funding for the construction, secure charitable status from the CRA, and release the first designs of the community center. All these things we would have loved to do and celebrate with the community in person.
So the hardest part of the pandemic was trying to meet people in order to raise funds to establish the Toronto Tamil Chair.
எங்களுக்கு ஒரு சங்கம் இருக்குது, ஸ்காப்ரோ தமிழர் சங்கம். அந்த சங்கம் கொஞ்ச நாள் நடக்காமல் அப்படியே சாப்பிட்டு எங்களுடைய அங்கத்தோட 100 பேருக்கு மேல் இருக்கிறார்கள்.
I'd say the most difficult part of the pandemic was having to cancel patients or operate labs at half capacity. Most of these procedures are urgent and many of these patients are quite sick. So it's heartbreaking, quite literally, to have to delay their care.
The fear we had that you're going to take this sickness further and to your home. So when you're coming from work, you got to take your precautions and come home safely and make sure your home is safe and you're safe and everybody else is safe.
Beginning of the pandemic, சரியான ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்தது. ஏன்னு சொன்னால் என்னுடைய ஃபேமிலியை விட்டுட்டு போகிறதுக்கு சரியான கஷ்டமாக இருந்தது.
In terms of where I found resilience, I found it in different ways, and I think again it's a lot to do with who's around you. I think over the last 2 years, my family has been a great source of support, and also my co-workers, my colleagues.
We found our resiliency through the excitement that our community has shown us, and it's that energy that gets us excited to continue this project for our community.
I think the biggest tools of resilience was, having a great team of folks to really troubleshoot and problem solve and work together as a team to address homelessness, addictions, and mental illness.
At the beginning, we were not sure how to go about it, but later on, we used it to have advantage.
We continue to persevere and push forward during these times in order to reach our goals and establish the Toronto Tamil Chair.
ஆனால் வெளியே போகையில் பெரிய தாக்கம் இதுதான் என்று முடிவு வந்த பிறகு ஒன்றும் செய்ய இயலாது. அதனால இதிலேயே எங்களுடைய இதுகளை நல்ல யோகா இதெல்லாம் செய்து கொண்டு இப்போதைக்கு நல்லா தான் இருக்கிறோம்.
I work with some of the best nurses and interventionists in the country. Spending time with the same people day in, day out, having our worst and best days together, they really just go from being work family to just family. And what we've experienced together in this pandemic, it'll stay with us for the rest of our lives. So I couldn't ask for a better team to connect with.
We have a really loyal customer base. They love our product, they love us. And thanks to them, we're able to stay in business because they definitely believe in supporting us, and especially during this tough time.
Je pense que la collaboration entre les enseignants, les parents et les étudiants a contribué tellement au succès de l'apprentissage en ligne, et c'était ça le plus grand force de la résilience.
This way, you do your part and make sure that this pandemic goes away from us. So moving forward, that we make sure that we take precautions and we make sure that this doesn't spread to the others from us.
இவ்வளவு துன்பங்கள் இருந்தாலும் நான் பேஷண்ட்ஸை டேக் கேர் பண்ணணும்ன்றதுல குறியா இருந்தேன். ஏனென்றால் என்னுடைய தொழிலை நான் மிகவும் நேசிக்கின்றேன். என்னுடைய பேஷண்ட்ஸை நான் என்னுடைய அம்மா மாதிரி தான் ட்ரீட் பண்ணுவேன். அப்ப எனக்கு என்னதான் கஷ்டமா இருந்தாலும் ஸ்டில் ஐ லவ் மை ஜாப். நான் நிறைய ஒரு பெருமைப்படுகின்றேன் என்னுடைய கம்யூனிட்டியை நினைச்சு, எங்களுடைய தமிழ் கம்யூனிட்டியை நினைச்சு எனக்கு நிறைய பெருமையா இருக்குன்னு சொன்னால் எனக்கு நிறைய சப்போர்ட் அவையில இருந்து கிடைச்சது.
What a powerful testimony to the incredible efforts of the community from many different parts of this country, representing the many different types of work that people have undertaken. And we're very grateful for all of their efforts, but they're just emblematic of the broader Tamil community and their contributions to the pandemic, but also to this country. So on behalf of Minister Anita Anand and the Federal Liberal Caucus, I am delighted to welcome you to the 6th annual Heritage Month, Tamil Heritage Month, organized by our caucus, featuring Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The theme for this year's event is resilience. From coast to coast to coast, Tamil Canadians have been at the forefront in supporting Canadians through the COVID-19 pandemic. We have several of these frontline and essential workers from across the spectrum to share their experiences, strength, and resilience with us tonight. These are but a few heroes in our community, and we thank all of those who are not here today. D'une océan l'autre, les Canadiens Tamils ont été à l'avant-garde pour soutenir les Canadiens pendant la pandémie de COVID-19. Nous avons plaisir de le de ces travailleurs essentiels de première ligne de partout pour partager leur expérience, leur force et leur résilience avec nous ce soir. Ce ne sont que quelques héros de notre communauté et nous tenons à remercier tous ceux qui ne sont pas ici d'aujourd'hui. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic, we have much to reflect and celebrate in Canada this year. We've established and endowed a chair in Tamil Studies at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus, secured funding from all levels of government for the Tamil Community Centre, and established Tamil Genocide Remembrance Week in Ontario. We saw 2 women express their love and commitment to each other through a marriage officiated by a Silite priest. And we saw the appointment of one of the first, if not the first, Minister of Defense of Tamil origin in the world, the Honorable Anita Anand. Tamil Canadians, however, continue to be in solidarity with those in the north and east of Sri Lanka. The loss of political and civic space for human rights defenders and journalists, the deterioration of the rule of law, and the lack of accountability for allegations of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide is compounded by the current financial crisis, and all in the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic has increased the resolve of Tamil Canadians to ensure that justice and human rights prevail on the island. Canada will continue to lead in these efforts as demonstrated in our role in Resolution 46-1 and our ongoing role in international bodies such as the United Nations Human Rights Council. As we look forward, I want to assure you that your government will continue to have your backs. We will support each other, each and every Canadian and businesses to get to the other end of the pandemic. And we will celebrate all together with our essential and frontline workers in the very near future. In the meantime, be safe, get your first shot or booster, and get your kids vaccinated as well. நான் சில வார்த்தைகள் தமிழ்ல சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். இது இந்த பேண்டமிக் வந்து தமிழ் மக்களை பாதிச்சிருக்குது. ஆனால் அப்படி இருந்தாலும் எங்கள் மக்கள் முன்னுக்கு நின்று பல பணிகள் செஞ்சு கொண்டு வரார்கள். குறிப்பாக ஃப்ரண்ட்லைன் அண்ட் எசென்ஷியல் ஒர்க்கர்ஸாக கனடாவில் இருக்கிற ஒவ்வொரு நகர்களையும் தமிழ் மக்கள் இருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்களுடைய பங்களிப்பு இந்த பேண்டமிக்கு மட்டுமில்லை, கனடா அந்த வளர்ச்சிக்கு கூட மிகவும் ஒரு முக்கியமான பங்களிப்பு. அவர்களுக்கு நாங்கள் எங்கள் அரசாங்கத்தின் சார்பில் நான் நன்றி சொல்ல கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கிறேன். நீங்கள் இந்த பேண்டமிக் வெளியில வாரண்டா முழு பேரும் உங்கள் வேக்சின் ஷாட்ஸ் இருக்க வேண்டிய கடமை இருக்குது. உங்களை முதலாவது 2வது மற்ற பூஸ்டர் ஷாட் இப்பவே இருக்கலாம். மறுபடியாக நீங்கள் இந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் நீங்கள் இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று உங்களை நான் தயவு செய்து கேட்டுக்கொண்டு கிட்டடி காலத்தில் நாங்கள் நேரடியாக நாங்கள் ஒன்று சேர்ந்து இந்த கொண்டாட்டங்களை நாங்கள் செய்வோம் என்று சொல்லி இனிய தைப்பொங்கல் புது வருட வாழ்த்துக்கள் உங்களுக்கு வாழ்த்தி நான் விடைபெறுகிறேன். Finally, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau. He has been an incredible friend of the Tamil community, and I'm so excited to welcome him back for Tamil Heritage Month celebrations. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Gary. Vanakkam, Inia, Thai Pongal, Noval Bukal. Thank you, Gary, for that introduction and for all your leadership, not just tonight, but over so many years, being such a strong voice, not just for the Tamil community, but for human rights and liberal values across the country and around the world. It's great to be here with you, Minister Anand, and so many other colleagues committed to this community and to the future of our country. À chaque jour, Gary et Anita sont là pour les gens qui les entourent. Et on peut dire la même chose pour toutes les personnes réunies ici ce soir. D'un océan à l'autre, la communauté tamoule canadienne rend notre pays plus fort et ça mérite d'être souligné. Before I go on, though, I do want to highlight our friend, yours and mine, John Tory, who is always there for this community, who's shown tremendous leadership through a very difficult time. John, it's great to see you virtually. I'm really going to take you up on going to see Roshan and taste some of that spicy food soon. And Gary, you haven't checked in with him. I'm sure that milk is boiling over now, so we should really go back and see how that red rice is doing. I'm really looking forward to that part of it. But John, your leadership and your friendship to all of us on this call and to everyone in Toronto is extraordinary. I miss you. I look forward to seeing you, not just because that'll mean that we're through this Omicron wave, or at least the worst of it, but also because we've got lots on our plate to continue working on for the incredible people of Toronto. Tonight, we're taking a moment to thank so many of you as frontline and essential workers who've been fighting so long and hard. I know this isn't the new year anyone wanted, but here's what else I know. The Tamil Canadian community is strong and resilient. You've stepped up to the plate time and time again. So as we mark Thai Pongal and reflect on what we're grateful for, I can only say this: thank you. With people like Dr. Ravi Chandran making sure everyone gets their shots, and Sadiq Mahmood helping those with disabilities get to appointments, with PPE and vaccines, and leaders like Minister Anand who've done so much to secure them, with local campaigns to deliver food to seniors. With all of that, with all of you, we will get through this. And together, we'll build back stronger than ever. I know many of you here today have been advocates for the new Tamil Community Centre that'll be going up in Toronto. A big shout out to Gary especially, who's been a driving force behind this project for Scarborough Rouge Park. We've invested over $14 million to help make this centre a reality, because if this pandemic has taught us anything, it's the power of community. La communauté tamoule canadienne a toujours veillé sur les plus vulnérables, et pas seulement ici, mais dans le reste du monde aussi. Sur cette note, j'aimerais rappeler l'engagement de notre gouvernement envers la réconciliation et la redevabilité au Sri Lanka. In the past year, Canada has played a key role in reaching a United Nations resolution to promote reconciliation, accountability, and human rights in Sri Lanka. This is work we will continue with our partners on the UN Human Rights Council to help achieve accountability, lasting peace, and stability. My friends, for people at home and around the world, this community steps up. So before I pass it back to Gary, I want to again say thank you for everything you do. I look forward to hearing some of your stories. It was wonderful to see you in that video. But all Canadians should know that with people like you leading the way, our path to better, brighter days is clear. Des meilleurs jours nous attendent. Merci de nous aider à traverser cette tempête. Merci, mes amis. Nandri Vanakkam.
Thank you, Prime Minister, and Nandri, to you as well for your incredible support of this community. So with that, we're going to go to some of our guests today who have been working.
Oh, wait, check in with Roshan first.
We are going to check in with Roshan. So he is actually our first guest. So Roshan,
okay, perfect.
Take it away. I think you're on mute, Roshan.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for being here with us. And here we go. The milk is now boiling over. Traditionally, when we do this, we say Pongalo, Pongal. So the milk has boiled over. What we do now is we add our rice. Immediately, that milk will settle back down. Traditionally, you would go clockwise 3 times. It's a sign of good luck. Okay, everything goes in. That's all the rice. Second, that goes in our mung dal. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this cook to like a porridge-like consistency. And then we're gonna add our sugar, our cashews, our raisins. In the meantime, while this is happening, I can show you. It's very traditional to, oh, by the way, you wanna turn the heat down to medium at this point so the rice has time to cook. Generally, this takes about like 20-30 minutes to cook. So in the meantime, you get some ghee in a pan. Ghee is basically clarified butter. If you don't have clarified butter, that's totally fine. We have really good butter here, so you could use butter. So what you want to do is you want to just get this ghee and turn your heat on to medium heat. It will melt very quickly. So what you want to do is basically once the ghee is melted, you just want to add in, your cashews. So I like to use raw, unsalted cashews. That's part of the traditional recipe. All you want to do is you just want to get a nice golden brown color on them. So that should take about a minute to cook. After that's done, I have raisins here. What you want to do is you want to transfer those cashews off to a cold plate. And then in the same pan, you just want to cook these raisins off for 30 seconds off on residual heat. Raisins are high in sugar, so they burn very quickly. So they don't need that much time. While that's happening, you want to just bring the camera close over here. So this is traditionally the spoon that we use. It's called an agapu. It's made out of a piece of wood and a coconut shell. It's part of our history, and generally this is what we use. So you just want to give this a stir. Just keep an eye on it. Let it cook. And I see my cashews, they're browning here. Give them a toss. And then once you start seeing all those things going brown, give it another toss, and you just turn the heat off. It doesn't take very long. Now another, so I'm just gonna put these on a pan.
So Roshan, I'm wondering if we could go to some of our guests today and then come back to you.
Yes, Gary, sure.
About 5 minutes, okay? So we're going to check in with you again, but thank you for that. And with that, we're going to go to Kirtan Arang to talk about the Tamil Community Center.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to celebrate Tamil Heritage Month with all of you. Thank you, Gary. Despite the pandemic, 2021 was a very important year for the Tamil Community Center. In July, we announced that the TCC will be receiving $26.3 million in funding from the provincial and federal governments through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program for the construction of the center. We were lucky enough to be able to announce this in person with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Premier, and the Mayor at the location where TCC will be built. And while I have this moment, I'd like to thank the Mayor and Councillor McKelvey for helping TCC find a great location in Scarborough. We also released the first design of the TCC for feedback from the community. And as you can imagine, people were pretty excited about this, as it helped them really visualize what TCC could look like. And just before the holidays, we became a registered charity with the CRA. And this is going to be really important for us as we move into fundraising mode this year. Unfortunately, we were unable to celebrate these important milestones with the Tamil community in person, but we turned to social media, our website, and video calls like this one to engage our community, and the feedback and support from the community has been tremendous. People continue to be excited about this project, and that gives us the energy to continue working on this project and bring it to life.
Thank you, Kirtana, and thank you for your enormous leadership in getting this done. This is an incredible team that's worked around the clock, and I think Mayor Tory and Jennifer will attest to how much perseverance they had. So thank you for your leadership in getting this done. I will go to Mr. Apatra Muthulingam to talk about the Tamil chair at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. I think we need to unmute you.
Sorry, Vanakkam. Tamils have joined hands together internationally for the first time to create a Tamil chair in the University of Toronto Scarborough. Funds were raised from all over the world: Canada, USA, Europe, Australia, India, Sri Lanka, and many other countries. The start of the COVID-19 pandemic made it difficult to connect with our community here in Canada and across the globe to raise the funds. But over time, we adapted and adjusted to raise a total of $3 million on the 26th of April 2021, 2 years before the target date. It is our belief in the future that Toronto will become the center of Tamil studies in the world. We want to thank the government for providing all the facilities in the past for the growth of our language. My question is this: we hope that the government will work with us to support the growth in the future too. Thank you very much. Vanakkam, Nandri.
Thank you, Mr. Muthalingam, for your leadership, and we're very excited to have additional infrastructure supporting the Tamil community in Scarborough Rouge Park. So thank you for all your hard work on that. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Indrani Padmanathan from the Scarborough Tamil Seniors to say a few words.
Really
and these include
Parliament and all friends here. Happy Thai Pongal to everyone. As a wheel trans operator working for the TTC for the last 18 years, the beginning of the pandemic was very frightening and was difficult. Every day there was a fear of potentially bringing this virus back to our family and to our friends and to our neighborhood. In order to stop this virus from spreading, even though we have to work with the clients that need ride and need our support as well. That's why we have to do our part in taking extra precautions so that we can protect ourselves, our community, and our neighbors by not spreading this virus any further. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Sadiq, for your efforts and your words. We're going to go to Sharmista, who's going to talk about education. I know in Ontario, we're all thinking about schools right now, and we're very grateful for all the work that you and all your colleagues as teachers do every day.
Thank you, Gary, and good evening, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Of course, today was a snow day, so very, very happy about that. As a teacher, I'm sure all the kids are too. L'enseignement pendant le pandémie est vraiment concentré d'assurer le bien-être des élèves, même si que je suis loin d'eux. Tout au long de la pandémie, je cherchais des stratégies pour continuer à établir des relations avec mes élèves via l'écran de l'ordinateur. De plus, la sécurité et le bien-être des élèves à la maison sont devenus un souci pour nombreux enseignants comme moi. Mais je pense que COVID-19 a vraiment changé et limité l'engagement avec nos étudiants. Mais comme toujours, en tant que Canadiens, nous persévérons. Merci.
Merci, Sharmista. Dr. Myron.
Thank you, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and all members of the Federal Liberal Caucus for joining us in celebrating our Thai Pongal and Tamil Heritage Month. I would also like to thank Gary for inviting us to this event. As an ER physician in Scarborough and as someone who grew up in Scarborough as a first-generation Tamil Canadian, I've had a unique perspective into into our healthcare system, both the good and the bad. And I think we can acknowledge that overall Canada has one of the best funded and well-equipped healthcare systems in the world. However, we can also see that despite all of this, we continue to face many challenges, and some of these are become more apparent during during the COVID pandemic. And these include, the staffing shortages, primarily in nursing, healthcare inequity, and healthcare access for some of our most vulnerable populations. These include our Indigenous populations and our elderly and new immigrants. And again, the COVID-19 pandemic really highlighted a lot of these limitations and challenges. And in Scarborough, we have tried to address some of these issues at the ground level, especially the ones around inequity and access, by organizing things like the culture-specific pop-up clinics that addressed some specific concerns from our various communities, and information sessions that tried to answer these questions as well. And more recently, the Scarborough Health Network Foundation has started, or they just launched the Love Scarborough fundraising campaign. That's the flag you see behind me. And it's a kind of a call to help from the rest of the community, from Toronto and the rest of the country, to help Canada's most vulnerable populations, and as we try to raise funds for new hospitals and new services. And again, this is something that I think all Canadians can relate to, and it's something that I think a lot of Canadians face in different communities. Again, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and I hope to continue to have the support of all Canadians as we emerge from this long pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Myron. Prime Minister, we're going to go back to Roshan, who I hope has plated and is ready for with the food. So Roshan, take it away. So I think we may be having some technical difficulties, but we will get back to him. There he is.
There he is.
Roshan.
Never interrupt a chef when he's going. He was going really busy at that point. I think we'll have to check back in shortly.
We will. So just so that everybody knows, Roshan's a small business person. He just started very unique business in Ajax this year, and we will have his video on how to make Pongal. So for all of you who are very excited, we will have a link to his video at the end. In the meantime, I'm very weary of time. So Prime Minister, if you could maybe comment and maybe conclude, and in the meantime, right afterwards, we will do a quick group picture.
Excellent. Well, listen, not a lot to add to what we just heard from so many members of the community with such different stories, but shared resilience and strength and service. I mean, that is really what we're all reminded of tonight: the generosity, the resilience, the connectedness of the Tamil Canadian community. That every single day, but particularly during trying times like these, make Canada stronger. I want to thank you all for everything you're doing, either on the front lines, like so many of you are, or as community leaders, gathering people together, making sure we're there for the vulnerable. It is just extraordinary to be able to see what you're doing and to stand with you. And I know, John Tory, as a strong leader and friend to you and to the federal government, continues to contribute. Thank you, John, for continuing to be here. And I want to thank all of you as well for everything you've done. And quite frankly, all the Liberal MPs who are on here today, the way you've all reached out to the Tamil communities and how you've all showed leadership during really, really trying times. One of the counters to just the loss, the heartbreak, the exhaustion we've all felt through this pandemic is to see so many examples of strength, of resilience, of people being there for their loved ones, for frontline workers, and for total strangers as well. The generosity and the strength of Canadians in general, and Tamil Canadians in particular, is what has gotten us through this pandemic so far, and will continue to get us through as long as it takes. Je suis profondément reconnaissant de tout ce que vous faites et je pense que c'est une réflexion que nous devons avoir particulièrement ce soir pour Thai Pongal. As we celebrate the harvest and the bounty and the strength of community, it's a time to also celebrate all the members of the Tamil community who make Canada so much stronger. On behalf of all Canadians, thank you so much. We will continue to have each other's backs. Together, we'll get through this. Merci, mes amis.
Merci, Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. And on that note, I'd like to invite everyone to turn on your cameras. And as we wait, Prime Minister, I just want to highlight some of our incredible staff who are working in the different ministries, and I don't have to tell you who they are, but I think for our audience, just want to invite them to turn their cameras on because they're an integral part of the work that we've been doing. Vandana Qatar, who's with your office, Prime Minister, Nilani Logeswaran, who's at Labor, Sher Rodrigo, who's at International Development, Mihalan Gurnanidhi, who's at Heritage, Bud Sambasevam, who's at the Ministry of Finance, Gautama Kurisamy at Public Safety, Doreen Sandranayagam at IRCC, Victor Kandasamy at CERNA, and all the MP staff, incredible staff, including mine, Joshua and Anojini and all the others and Dharani and who all helped put this together. So with that, we're going to take a group picture and we will conclude right afterwards. So come on, guys. I'm going to invite my family over if it's okay. And as you can tell, they're growing, so they're.
And Roshan's showing off the plate as well. Look at that, that's gorgeous. Perfect for the picture.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And finally, to conclude, I am very excited to invite my good friend and the Minister of Diversity and Inclusion, the Honorable Ahmed Hussain, to have the final word. But before that, I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge the work of Supendra. I don't know if he's on camera, but he has done all the videos and he's been working around the clock for the last week to get all the logistics done. Waleed, Gavin, Piyush, Shauna, Anojini, and Joshua. Great job, guys. So thank you for that. And all your staff, the MP staff, who were very helpful in putting this together. With that, I'm going to give Ahmed the last word. Take it away, Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Gary. Vanakam, Inia Thai Pongal, Nal Bal Tuko. Happy Thai Pongal. It is an honor to join you, Gary, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as all my colleagues in the Liberal Caucus, to join the community on this happy festive Thai Pongal. I want to pay particular tribute to the community for its amazing work, the frontline and essential workers who have kept us safe, who have been working tirelessly through this really difficult time. On another note, I also want to, of course, highlight the contributions that Tamil Canadians have made and continue to make into our communities from coast to coast to coast. It is an honor and a pleasure to join you, Gary, and the Tamil Canadian community once again for another year of celebrating Thai Pongal. Merci beaucoup, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you very much, and that concludes our annual Thai Pongal event, and we're looking forward to celebrating in person next year. We better celebrate this in person next year, folks. Really looking forward to it, and thank you to all my colleagues for joining us today. Thank you to all those guests who are doing incredible work. Thank you, Mayor Tori and Jennifer, for your leadership, and thank you to all of our staff for the great work that they do. Elorakum Nandri, Vanakam.